Hi, Steve Cooper, Rank Success, and welcome to some more food for thought in relation to promotion in the police service. And this is targeted at anybody going for promotion to sergeant, inspector, chief inspector. And as I say, it's just some food for thought around the topic, the theme of competition. And the reason I've decided to kind of do this short video is because I've been really busy in the last few weeks with speaking with people, working through applications, one-to-one support, and lots of telephone conversations with officers who call me, and I will ask some questions such as, well, how are you prepared? How have you prepared so far for your opportunity? And people will say, well, that's why I'm ringing you, Steve. I've got a board next Wednesday. And for me, that's fine. I will always try and fit people in if I can and support them and offer guidance and information and refer and signpost and direct them to where they can get resources. And I'll talk more about those in a minute. But the theme, the topic of competition is something that's so central. It runs like a golden thread throughout promotion competitions. And the word competition is something I think that candidates overlook. It's almost like I don't know, kryptonite. It's like a weakness for Superman. So you've got, you know, really good operational officers, very, very experienced, and they're keen and they're motivated. And if that's you, great, but prepare as well, because it's a competition. And that word competition, you're competing with other candidates in your force, so you can be good, other people can be better. Generally, the force will promote the best candidates on the performance, right or wrong, whatever that performance is. And you'll see lots of blogs on my site around, you know, the postcode lottery of police promotions. And while I'm on that with the blog, in terms of resources, if you're busy, which I'm sure you are today as a cop, if you just want to hit the ground running, just know that at ranksuccess.co.uk, you can have a look straight away at the top of the site, click blog, and you'll open up a whole load of rabbit holes, blogs, meaningful pieces of information to help and support you and to guide you on your promotion aspirations. There are also YouTube channel videos on the Rank Success YouTube channel, and there's also free podcasts you can access at the top of my site. So what I try and do is provide a whole load of free information to signpost and direct officers to at least get into the starting line of this competition. And I want to put out as much free information as I can. And at the moment, as things stand, in terms of available resources for free, there's more than you can shake a stick at my site. If you want to take the next step and hit the ground running and supercharge your promotion aspirations, then there are bespoke digital toolkits for sergeant or inspector and chief inspector. There's a 4-hour promotion masterclass with me suited and booted with my serious head on, talking to you about all things promotion. So you can listen to those, watch them and reflect upon them as part of your effective preparation and your approach. So just coming back to this theme then of competition, okay? It's missed out. You won't see it in some forces, in many forces. I'll tell you, one of the forces that does actually allude to the word competition is An Garda Síochána, and I've been speaking to quite a few officers at sergeant and inspector rank recently who are preparing for their opportunities, and those that prepared last year, and their paperwork actually talks about the yearly promotion competition. And I love it because it does what it says on the can. It's a competition, and it gets everybody into that mindset straight away. There's no point being good. Everybody's going to be good in the process. You've got to aim to smash it and aim for the stars. Aim to come number one in your force, because often we can be victims. I've been there before with all of this. You know, you think, well, other people might be better than me. Well, clearly that individual that I know of, that I'm thinking of, is more experienced than me. That individual's been very well written up by the bosses. None of that matters. None of it matters. What matters is you. You can't do anything about that. But what you can do is you can transform your opportunities by preparing effectively and understanding and entering the promotion process, promotion selection process, boards, whatever it is, with the mindset that it is a competition. So you have that place, you earned it, you've passed your leadership qualification if you're in Police Scotland, you've passed the promotion exam if you're in England and Wales, and you deserve it, you've earned your place there. But it's not enough, it's not enough. So you've got to muster and marshal all your energy, your drive, your motivation, your enthusiasm, and bring it into focus in the promotion competition. And do not listen to what I call the dementors. The dementors are the people who know how it should be done. They know all the things that are wrong with promotion processes at the moment. I've written blogs, you can go and have a look at those. They know all the things that are wrong with it. Very often do they suggest what could be done differently, and forces are stuck in the middle between trying to come up with the fairest promotion selection process. And that's why you see so many different approaches in these competitions between, you know, candidates going into like a dragon's den type scenario with 6 different rooms where the panel will ask you a question each, and it's a different panel in each room. And then you've got situational judgment tests as an entryway or a gateway through to the rest of the selection process. And that wipes out half the field because people don't know what situational judgment tests are. They certainly haven't practiced them for 2 months, 8 weeks beforehand, so that, you know, they can do their best on the day, rather than discovering what a situational judgment test is when you come into the room for the first time or take it online for the first time. It's a competition. Okay, and then there's others. So there's promotion presentations before your board, where you get given a topic, you get 30 minutes to present. So you get 30 minutes to prepare, 45 minutes, something like that to prepare, then 10 minutes to deliver a professional presentation on what the information, the topic, the subject you've been given is. And then you straight into your board. In other forces, they have a diversity, equality and inclusion pre-board before you go into your promotion board. So none of that matters really for prepared candidates. For those that are effectively prepared, they've covered all of that. But lots of people go in understanding or thinking or processing this competition in the context only of what their force does, instead of going with the parameters really wide and going, what could I be asked? What type of interview is it I will face? What kind of questions will I face in that kind of process, in that kind of interview model? What's a good way of answering questions or responding verbally to those questions in that type of interview model? What's the difference between the type of questions I will be asked? So rear-facing or forward-facing questions? What about strengths-based questions? Now, all of this, it's too late. If you decide 2 weeks before a process, as many officers do who I've spoken to, if you want to try and cover all of that in 2 weeks, then good luck to you, but you've got your work cut out. That's all I'll say. There are some talented individuals who they can lock themselves away in a room. And you'll see one of my recent blogs that I wrote a few weeks back, where an individual just did that after they'd climbed to base camp on Everest. And they couldn't get back in time, so they locked themselves away, took an internal flight from Kathmandu, I think, to Pokhara, found the only hotel with internet access, locked themselves in their room and prepared for their board, and did really well on their promotion board when they got back to the UK. So it's perfectly possible to do it. But what I would say is, if you're listening to this and you're thinking you're aspiring for a promotion, you just get that mindset of it's a competition and you want to do better than everybody else and come first. And you will see that on my testimonials now. There are more and more people not just doing well, which you should do if you adopt that approach, but smashing it. They use that word. I'm smashed my promotion board. I came top. I was invited back afterwards by a member of the board, or they contacted me afterwards and said, how did you prepare? You were clearly the best prepared. And so this theme of competition is something I would encourage you to think about now, to get that into your head and then approach the promotion selection process with that mindset, with that in mind. So An Garda Síochána, they talk about the yearly promotion competition. So let's tick that off. Let's get that right. You've got to summon all your energy and your drive and your motivation and your commitment and channel and harness it for a couple of months at any one time, just like you did with the promotion exam or your leadership qualification. So what do I mean by that then? Some of the basics that I will talk to officers about are, could you just tell me in your own understanding what are some of the challenges facing policing at the moment. And we have some really interesting conversations because people just don't know. And if they do, their level of knowledge and understanding isn't good enough. On top of that, I would then ask you, well, look, what are some of the challenges facing your force in particular? Again, they have to go off on a journey of discovery and say, can I get back to you later on that, Steve? Because they haven't done the work. But what's interesting here is that I'm asking the questions that I believe many people could probably think about if they gave themselves some time. Because none of it's rocket science that I ask. I'm a qualified executive coach and leadership mentor. I'm an experienced cop. I retired from the police service as a detective inspector. I've achieved promotions myself. And I've supported thousands now of officers to be successful in promotion processes. So I would say on all of that, I've probably learned very little, but I've learned a lot. But in the wider scope of things, it's not really enough. It's always moving forward. It's a moving feast. And that's, you know, that's one of the aspects of promotion processes where people say, well, look, they just change the goalposts every year for the sake of it. And that can't be right for policing. And these are outdated, outmoded promotion processes. And I would respectfully say, blah, 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 blah. Because none of that matters. The only thing that matters is getting with the flow, understanding the rules like Einstein said, and then playing them better than anybody else. That's what I'm talking about. And just understanding this concept of competition at the outset, at the very outset. So so there's a couple of questions that I would ask. What part will you play in helping your force to achieve its aims and objectives as a newly promoted leader? And the video hasn't stuck there because I leave a pregnant pause at the end of that. And it's really telling. Prepared candidates can really kind of slot into that and say, okay, well, that's a really good question. I'd like to answer that by starting with this first. And others, it will just be silence. And all of that's okay because this is what it's all about. It's about supporting people and getting them into the kind of mindset, the thinking zone of where you will be sat on that interview chair being asked these questions. The more time you can spend in that zone and place, the better. Okay, so I've just got a couple of notes here to prompt me. Not listening to other people who, the other thing really is there are lots of people out there to help you. There are lots of people, you might be lucky enough to have mentors, guides in your force. There may be officers who help you. You may get some promotion support classes, orientation aspects, but there are also many people who don't want you to do well. Sometimes those are people who haven't done well themselves, and they may well be supervisors today who can't get through processes because they don't apply themselves, or they haven't got the drive, the energy. They're unable to apply themselves, and it's a really difficult area. I might even do a separate whole thing about it. I used the term dodging the Dementors earlier on. The Dementors are from Harry Potter, where, you know, you don't want to see them, you don't want to hear them. They're like mood hoovers, energy vampires. You know, that you don't need them, you don't want to be around them, and yet they may well be on your teams, they may be well in your station, they may well be part of your surrounding group. Surround yourself with positive people, focus on what you want to achieve, and apply yourself to effective preparation. Now, if you want to do that, have a look at my site, ranksuccess.co.uk. You can do that anytime you choose with the resources there. You can certainly get straight away hit the ground running with all the free resources, the free blogs, the free podcasts, the free YouTube videos. And then if you're serious about it, once you've had a look at that, you know, use the NDM, start at the top. What information does that give me? Okay, so what? Now what? What am I going to do? So you probably just saw that pigeon come on top of my roof. They're having a bloody war of the worlds at the moment on top of my conservatory for some reason. So if you hear a bit of noise kicking in a minute, it's the pigeons fighting, so I'm not going to stop the video for that. Okay, yeah, just this element of effective preparation. If I asked you to come and race me next week on a 10k race, there's probably some racing snakes out there amongst you who thrash me. But you wouldn't turn up without having done any training, would you? There's medical issues there. There's also, you want to give yourself a good account of yourself. Same thing with the process for promotion selection. Do the best you can, okay? Put some effort in, some training, some prior thought and preparation. If we were going to have a boxing fight, you would probably want to get fit. So generally, 6 weeks physical training, and then perhaps a couple of weeks fine tuning and conditioning. Same kind of approach for a promotion selection board. 3 months is a great platform to give yourself to prepare, and 2 weeks conditioning is good as well. As I say, some people call me and say, Steve, I'm having a board next Wednesday, and arguably it's too late, and lots of candidates remove themselves from a promotion process by not considering this kind of stuff. So all I would say to you, some people prepare for 9 months, and you'll see lots of people on my testimonials who spent 9 months preparing. Okay, I think I've done that really, just get this mindset of competition in, approach it as a competition, and give yourself that opportunity rather than actually reacting. So have an effective plan for promotion. If you want to have a chat about that, I'm more than happy to have a chat about it. I'm often helping officers organise their time. So sometimes people will commute into London, which lots of officers do in the Met, and we have a conversation. They say, well, I haven't got time to prepare. And I said, well, how long are you commuting in? An hour, hour and a half, 2 hours into London every day and back out again. 20 minutes looking at your iPad with one of my digital guides on there and thinking and reflecting and coming back to them from time to time, because once you've purchased them, downloaded them, they're yours. There's no passwords, there's no paywalls, there's no nothing there. You can actually look at them every day for 20 minutes. That added up over a week, over a month, over 2 months is a tremendous amount of thought going on in your head in the right direction. Okay, like I say, I think I've done that to death really there. You can download those toolkits, you can watch a promotion masterclass. I think I've planted the seed with you about this theme of competition now, so I will be back with another video shortly, and until then, take care, and wherever you are in your promotion process, I wish you all the very best.